Amy with Flower Moxie, and we're just doing a really quick rough video of how to build a Cascade bouquet. So to start out, and we'll just kind of cut it up into segments, but to start out, you need the necessary evil of a foam bouquet holder. And I definitely like the slanted ones because you'll be holding it like this. There's no way to build it with the stems going down and then flowers going down. So this is one thing that you just simply can't avoid. Another thing is that's kind of a necessary evil would be floral adhesive. And so anytime that you insert a stem into your foam, you will need to dip the stem into this glue because as you're holding it, you'll jostle it around. So it's not enough just to stick it into the foam like you would on a centerpiece. One thing to know about this is it's very sticky, very messy, and it dries extremely fast. So put it on a plastic plate or a paper plate and just do like a quarter size at a time, and then you'll have to make another kind of dab on your plate. And so when you get this started, the first thing that you're going to do is build the foundation of it. Don't stick a flower right into the middle and build around that. What I'm going to do is basically load it down with greenery and create my shape and how far I want it to hang, and then I'll fill out the center so much with greenery that I really can't see the cage of the foam. And then I'll start tucking in my blooms. So greening things first and greening it heavily really makes the entire process easier because you don't have to design with flowers not knowing where you're going to go, and it saves how much or how many flowers that you need to use. So another tricky thing, so I've soaked this for about 20 minutes in water that had some floral food, and the best way to build this is to rig up some kind of vase with like an old towel in it to hold it for you as you're building. I kind of keep it upright because it will get too heavy in one direction, and I've literally had my bouquet fall off my workspace. So as you're working with it, you'll pick it up and look in the mirror and hold it, but as you're building it, it's best to just build it where it's laying down flat. So we're going to start with a little bit of glue. Again, this stuff is like working with honey. And we'll start with greenery. And the first thing I'm going to want to do is figure out how far I want my cascade to cut down. So I dip the tip of it in a little bit of floral glue and insert it about a few inches into the foam. So as you can see here, we're already kind of figuring out how far we want it to hang. Ivy, jasmine vine, ruscus works great. Okay, so this isn't anywhere near where it's going to be, but this is what I'm talking about of the foundation, of like the bride that wants this cascade, she doesn't want it to come down too far and she doesn't want it too wild. So basically I created how much hang that I want. And the next step will be to fill out how wide I want it. And again, like this bride is a bit conservative. She wants a cascade, but she doesn't want it too organic and too wild. So I'm going to keep that in mind. Once I create the outer foundation, I'll fill in the inside and then we'll tuck in the blooms. All right. Okay, so this is the foundation that I'm talking about. When you can't mess it up if you just green heavily, and then when you go to stick in your flowers, it's not going to be as artistically challenging. I feel like when you have a good foundation of greens, you can't screw it up as easily as if you were just trying to build in one corner and work your way across. To kind of nestle my bigger buds off to the side, personally, I don't like to take a big bloom and just put it right in the middle. I like to kind of throw things off a bit while still keeping it kind of neat and symmetrical without getting too wild on her. So I will start the blooms. Okay, so I'm not quite done yet. I've built this all with it in its holder, kind of like this. And so occasionally I take it out and go look in the mirror. And so I have some weird stuff kind of happening, and I really need to just kind of look at it in the mirror to tweak it and change up the parts that I don't like. At this part of the game, I honestly have to have somebody hold it for me because if I'm to build it, you've got to kind of like guide a stem through the greenery without being able to see the foam, and someone needs to hold on to it, because at this point it's so heavy and so top heavy, there's no way to do it in its base. Okay, so I had Tiffany hold it, I took a look at it, I filled in some holes, and I added a little bit more. If it were me, I would have a little bit more sprigging out, but again, she likes things pretty symmetrical and clean with just some cascading. Point being, this is basically the foundation of how you make it and the theory behind it, so you can make it as wild or as compact as you would like. Another thing is you can't make this until the day before your wedding. That's one thing, is because this foam doesn't hold that much water. And another thing that is probably important if you're going to do a cascade is finish off by spraying it down with Crowning Glory. So you can get this on Amazon. It's about $15. And so we're going to spray it down, and what this is it just kind of keeps the flowers fresh, and it keeps them from blooming anymore, and it really helps when the flowers aren't actually in a vase of water, when they're just in wet foam. And if you have a cooler big enough, then pop this guy in the cooler. If not, just keep it in a really cool room, and it will hold for you